Here's a look at where stocks ended a volatile week of new record highs and lows as markets digested every new development with Iran and more strong quarterly reports from U.S. corporations. Then we got a blowout April jobs report Friday showing 115,000 jobs added to the U.S. economy. Only 62,000 was expected. The unemployment rate holding steady. 4.3%. Joining me now, National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett. Kevin, what a report. And once again, we see this blockbuster number coming from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Your reaction?
Yeah, it's absolutely a blockbuster number, and it's the second one in a row, really. And there's a whole bunch of really interesting things down in the weeds. So, for example, all of the job creation these last two blockbuster months was for private sector jobs. We continue to reduce government workers at a pretty healthy pace. We're down maybe about 350,000 government workers since President Trump took office. And so despite the big reduction in the federal workforce, we're seeing blockbuster jobs numbers. The other thing is that we're absolutely seeing like almost nobody is being laid off. We have data on the initial claims for unemployment insurance, and they're the lowest in recorded history. Lowest in recorded history. Since the 1960s, they've been, calling people up and saying, hey, did you lay anybody off this week? And there's never been a better week for the American worker than like the last week or two because initial claims are so low. And so the job market is as strong as we've ever seen it. And it's so strong because President Trump's policies are working. People are getting their big tax refunds. Factories are being built. There's more than 70,000 people working today that weren't working last year building factories. All of that stuff means that as good as the numbers are today, they're going to be even better going forward.
There's also the issue of immigration. And when you've got fewer immigration, you've got less illegal immigration, which obviously we do under President Trump. That also affects the labor market in general. Talk to us about that.
Right. In fact, under Joe Biden, remember that what would happen would be you would have an illegal alien would come across the border, be released, be furloughed into the U.S. and be given a Social Security number so they could get right to work. And we did an analysis when we first got into the White House that showed that almost all of the job creation that happened under President Biden was the employment of illegal aliens. And so by securing the border, by reinforcing immigration law, there were some that said that we wouldn't have enough workers to grow the economy. You can remember that. But in fact, what has happened is great high-paying jobs have been going to American citizens, which is really what the intent of President Trump's policy was.
What do you make about the threat of AI?
The bottom line is that AI increases productivity enormously. And that's why for the last few quarters, you've seen America's corporations have blockbuster earnings reports. That's why the stock market is so high, because when they use AI to be better at what they do, then the efficient businesses make more money. And that's better for shareholders. But it also means that when you're more productive, that you can afford to pay workers more. And so if you look at, we have a measure of whether a worker's job is AI adjacent or not. And AI adjacent workers, their employment is booming. Their wages are booming. And really, to the extent that there's any story at all about AI that's harmful to workers today, it's that the firms that aren't using AI are falling behind. And maybe that's where you're seeing employment loss.
I wanted to get your thoughts based on all the data that you've seen thus far. What is your projection right now for GDP growth for the year?
Right. Well, I think we're really safely looking like we should have 4% for the rest of the year. But I can tell you that, you went on about Mamdani and the socialists and the Democratic Party. Here's a thing that's a serious drag that has me a little bit concerned. If you look at all the job creation that's happened since President Trump took office, all the positive job creation is in states that voted for President Trump. If you look at states that voted for Kamala Harris, they've had job destruction. And in part, it's because, people are leaving the states because of the high taxes and so on. And so for sure, in the aggregate, we're looking at 4% economic growth because of all the productivity from AI, all the capital spending and so on. But the drag on the economy is that the blue states are actually hemorrhaging jobs. And so if we disappoint at all, it'll be because of like what happens to New York State, what happens to California because of these misguided policies.
Well, as Maria always says, money is mobile. Let's talk about gas prices before you go, because the national average right now remains above $4.50. Are you concerned that these prolonged gas prices, these higher prices, are going to have an impact on inflation? I mean, it's not just maybe short-term inflation, which I think is the expectation here for the next CPI report. But if this conflict goes on overseas and the Strait continues to be a problem throughout the summer, that means that we're going to be still looking at $85 a barrel come December. Your reaction?
Well, our expectation is the straits will be open, and then there's going to be a gusher of oil coming out, and gas prices will head back down. If you look at futures markets where people are trading future gasoline and future oil, then they're expecting that as well. So it's not just White House talking points. But we understand that right now gas prices are unacceptably high for people, but we think it's a small price to pay in the end for ending this regime that has nuclear weapons pointed at the U.S. and our allies. And President Trump made the decision for national security reasons that we had to protect America. And I 100% support him in that.
All right. Kevin Hassett, it's always a pleasure to have you on the program. Thank you for joining us.
Great to be here.